Hello, welcome to Racing to Win for the midweek edition. We're back at Happy Valley on Wednesday night for a 9-race program, the Class 2 being the highest rated race on the program. Joined in the studio today by Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, the good news is this week there is not a typhoon in sight.
No, there's not, Mark, so it should be nice and dry. Although we've had some rain through Tuesday here in Hong Kong. A lot of speed in race number 7. That's the Class 2 race over 1,000 metres. And then race number 8, the Class 3, 1,200. Basically all the same horses from last Wednesday night that didn't get a run.
Absolutely. I want to ask you about that, Paul, because there's no jackpots. But the horses that were supposed to run last week, doing the form for tonight, how much of that do you take into account that they did miss that run?
Well, a lot of them have had lots of good gallops during the week as well, so they've had that extra gallop. The interesting thing is, more importantly, is the barrier draws. You know, you've got horses that have drawn really well last Wednesday, suddenly they've drawn wide this time. So Ratton Kingdom springs to mind as an example.
Harmony Fire as well, barrier 1 last week, barrier 8 this week.
Yeah. Ratton Kingdom out into barrier number 11. Before we get on with the show this week, at the trials this morning, the big guns were out. We'll start, Tom, with the trial. You were there, so you've got a great view of these trials earlier today. Romantic Warrior, Tourbillon Diamond, and also in this trial is Panfield on the outside. Yeah,
Panfield, he was sort of back of midfield and then swished up around them down the side and finished off well. Tourbillon Diamond was up near the pace throughout, and basically in the trail throughout was Romantic Warrior, and really did like the way Romantic Warrior stretched out through the middle for Zach Purton. So it was basically the three big names here leading them home over the 1,600 metres. I think he's in great form at the moment, Romantic Warrior.
That's looking good. His track work's been good as well, so he's cherry ripe for a return.
Golden 60 also made an appearance. He was due to trial last week. Now, this was more the Golden 60 of old, Paul, out the back, and he wasn't overly impressive, but it was a very wet all-weather track. Yeah,
it was a bit wet out there this morning, and you can see the horse, he just sort of stayed out the back and ran home, did what he had to do. Now, this is how he used to trial. He's been trialling really well on the turf. He comes back here to the all-weather, under wet conditions. Just a run around, really, wasn't it, Tom?
Of course, he was scratched from an all-weather trial the other day when it was wet, but they probably didn't really have too many options this time around, but he was sort of out in the better part of the track.
Yeah, it felt good. Jumped fast, very fast. Faster than I expected, and track condition isn't that good as well. So just stay away from all the kickbacks, and but in the shade, even I let him go, he only stretched out a little. He didn't give everything. He knows he's not gonna give 100% at a trial, especially on this condition. A smart horse, so look after himself, which I'm glad. But yeah, we'll do some more work probably on the turf next week, then he should be ready.
He'll have to be ready. He's got a big clash coming up with California Spangle in a few weeks' time. That was Vincent Ho after his ride on Golden 60 earlier today. Now, we've got some withdrawals before we crack on with the show, and those withdrawals, race 1, number 1, Chiron, has been replaced by Moonluck. Zach Purton takes the ride, and Moonluck will carry 123 pounds. And HK Dragon has come out, Lucky Missile, into the field as horse number 2 for Lyle Hewitson. So Happy Valley we return to for a 9-race program, and we're on the A course this week, and the grass has been replaced and no meetings for about 2 weeks. It's in tip-top order as well. Earlier start 6:45 with the bottom handicap, but the 2 races that we feature, races 7 and 8, the Class 2 over the 1,000 and the Class 3 also over the 1,000 metres. The Poyen handicap is the first of the races, and we've got an absolute stack of speed here. Harmony and Rich comes back to the 1,000, so too does Handsome Bobo. Weather South is a 7-time course and distance winner. Classic Unicorn, he won last time he raced over the 1,000 metres at Happy Valley. WizKid, 2nd time in Class 2. Pinghai Galaxy coming back in trip. Equalita Blitz is going up in class. And down the bottom, Run Cool back to the 1,000 and seizing the moment has placed 2nd up as he comes up in grade. All right, so over to the speed map we go. Tom, I'd imagine you'll find more speed here than a few of the Sevens rugby wingers over the course of last weekend.
Yes, there'll be a lot of speed in this race, Mark. It's almost a case of who doesn't want to lead here. You've got WizKid who goes forward. Zach Purton rides this week, so he's not apprentice-ridden. WizKid, Classic Unicorn, he's back to 1,000 metres, so that'll suit. Equalita Blitz jumped well last start, Paul, but they restrained him because it was alternate pace. Harmony and Rich can lead, and Pinghai Galaxy is probably not going to have too much luck from 9.
No, and We the South likewise is drawn wide. So, yeah, plenty of pace on. Look, WizKid, Zach Purden's riding, so he's not going to overcook it. That's just the query there. It's just what Classic Unicorn wants to do on his inside. I think it's going to set it up for something at the back, though.
All right, so one of those horses at the back on the speed map is We the South, who does love a 1,000 metre Wednesday night out at Happy Valley, and his rider this week is Wagner Borges.
Wagner, We the South is a horse that you know very well. Last time out, he ran an excellent race in defeat on the all-weather. Talk me through that race.
I think we need to use his very fast horse. We need to use this. The horse have many horses inside. I think go to lead it, but he don't need running in front. He can run in second, third, and he's a good horse.
There's quite a lot of pace in this race, Wagner.
A strong pace, huh?
You're drawn in 10. Are you happy to let something else lead, or does he have to lead?
He need a good jump first. Sometimes he jump well or have a bad jump. And first time you need have a good jump, and you can see the horse inside. You can go in front, but we cannot use the first 600. You need to come to last 300, 200. You have more chance, no?
Absolutely. And given that he's got a good record here at Happy Valley, I imagine coming back to Happy Valley is going to be a big plus for him.
Yeah, he like Happy Valley. It's better for him. The truck is a small truck. As well.
And just for you, Wagner, how happy are you to get back on this horse? Because, I mean, you rode him a long time ago. You rode him last start. I imagine you're very happy to get back on a good horse like him.
I rode him last time about the weight. No? It's very light. And Mr. Frankie gave me again. I know him. I have 2 wins with him. And I think we can win now, again.
Nick Child there with Wagner Borges out at track work this morning. So that was We the South. We head back to Sha Tin, but this time to a race featuring a number of horses, including Handsome Bobo, who was so good when he took on Lucky with you and just missed. Run Cool was a bit unlucky. That's him on the outside rail. WizKid has that natural pace. Classic Unicorn does as well, but he fades late. And We the South also features here, Tom. This is a run for Handsome Bobo that was a couple of starts ago. He's followed over the 1,200 since, but back to the 1,000 this week.
Yeah, and he was on the quick backup here, wasn't he? He'd run third and then he backed up again for a second placing, but then his subsequent run was a little disappointing. He had a lead up in front and then just didn't really fire at all. Got Run Good here, but I prefer him back at Sha Tin, Paul. But WizKid, it just depends how much pace there is and what Zach Purden wants to do from that draw of barrier 8.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm going to include Handsome Bobo, though, because I think he could get the race run to suit, and he has drawn 7, so he's just slightly inside. But I think he'll go back, I think, from that draw.
Now, here's Harmony and Rich leading for home. That's him there. He will start to wander outwards on the track, and Pinghai Galaxy is in between horses here. And Cop's a little bit of a squeeze up, but you've got him just doing it a bit tough on the speed map, Paul.
He's drawn 9, hasn't he? So he's got all this pace underneath him. Look, unless they decide to ride him back, which they haven't really done, I thought he might struggle a bit. But he is a horse that's in form at the moment. He did win 2 starts ago, backed it up with a nice third. I'm going to include him on a minor line. If he gets some luck, I think he could be at the finish.
Yeah, he's included. It wouldn't have helped there that Harmony Rich was taking him up the track over the final stages, but he has been in good form. We've seen that at the trials recently and on race day.
Here he is again, Pinghai Galaxy, in against Seizing the Moment. That's him on the rail, and Equalita Blitz is on the extreme outside. But you're keen on Seizing the Moment, Tom. He's looking like he's going to get a perfect trip on the back of a super hot speed.
He should do here, and he was a bit unlucky this night too when the horses went down to the inside there. He had to check up and change ground, but he still had the audacity to come on again. That's Equalita Blitz down the outside there as well. He jumped well, but they took him back, and it was sort of surprising, Paul, that he went round at such a short price and a good field there.
Yeah, he hasn't got a very good second up record either, Equalita Blitz, so I'm a little bit worried about that, but I'm with you on Seizing the Moment. I think he's going to get the perfect run.
These are the times that the horses which have won over the 1,000 metres at Happy Valley have gone. Rich has gone the fastest. He was track record holder at one stage, Paul.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? So, look, he's just drawn awkwardly a little bit, I thought, to Harmony and Rich, and he's got that pace underneath him. So it might be just a little bit of a tricky one for him. The other thing with him is he's got to carry the weight as well.
And I wonder if he's a bit high in the ratings as well. He's off a mark of 98 here when he has previously run off 93.
And of the others, the most recent one is Pinghai Galaxy, went 56.33. He's currently third on that list of the fastest 1,000 metre winners in that race around Happy Valley. But selections, please, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the season at the moment. I think with the lightweight, he gets back. There's all his pace on, and he was a little bit unlucky last start, so he's on top. Whiz Kid, he's unbeaten at Happy Valley. You've got to take that into account. 3 from 3. Handsome Bobo should get the race run to suit, and Pinghai Galaxy on a minor line. 10.527.
You're keen here on this season at the moment. If he was to stay at that sort of price as well, I think it would be a good bet here. A season at the moment with all the pace in the race. Antoine Hamlin and John Size. WizKid will be there for a fair way. Pinghai Galaxy might have to take a sit this time round if they can from barrier number 9 with all that alternate speed in the race. If he can get in from there as a matter of fact as well. And Equaletta Blitz here, second or fifth last time out, should get a good run through, I think, from barrier number 2. Made ground out wider last time out. So 10, 5, 7 and 8.
There we have the preview for race number 7. Off to a break now on Racing to Win. We'll come back on the other side of this and have a look at race number 8. Welcome back to Racing to Win as we preview Happy Valley on Wednesday night. We've seen race number 7, so it's time to turn the page now and have a look at race number 8. It's again a 1,000 metre race, but this time it is a Class 3. And we have the field lining up as follows. Special M resumes on the back of 3 trials. Harmony Fire has the shadow roll going on. Dragon Admiral, a first starter for Richard Gibson, was Sudoku out of Australia. Won over 1,100 at Ballarat and 1,200 at Sale for Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. California deeply raced under the same name for the Snowden partnership. Won over 1,100 metres at Warwick Farm. We've got Savvy Delight resuming on the back of 2 trials. Super Eagle comes back to the 1,000 and High Rise Soldier. Both of his wins have been at 1,200 metres. The first of the speed maps, Tom, we had a good to fast tempo. This one is more good than fast.
Yeah, but there should be plenty of pace in this with the Super Axiom. He's one of the quickest horses here in Hong Kong from the gates. He's put on a bit of weight since his last effort. He's drawn 11 here. He was due to line up the other day, drawing 10, so he's not too much further out. Heroic Master should get a good run through. He's drawn at midfield. There won't be wide this time round, you'd say, Paul. California Deeply's got some speed, and Harmony Fire, he hasn't fared well with the draws this week.
No, he's going to find a lot tougher from that draw. He did draw 1 the other day, but drawn barrier 8 here. Special M, he drew wide the other day. He's drawn 12 this time, so no luck for him, and he'll be looking for some cover, I think. Look, horses like Classic Posh will get back. Now, the first starter's Dragon Admiral in Hong Kong hasn't shown too much speed, whereas California Deeply has in his trial, so he'll be a lot closer to the pace.
Heroic Master is where we focus, though. He is horse number 5 there on the speed map. He raced wide on debut. He's got a better draw this week, and his trainer is Frankie Law.
Frankie, Heroic Master made a very pleasing debut here in Hong Kong. Missed out on a run last week, but he goes back to Happy Valley. Are you happy with him?
Yeah. Last week he drew 6. This week draw 3, a bit better.
Just on, before we touch upon the draw, go back to his debut run. That must have been a really pleasing run for you and the connections, because he really knuckled down and wasn't beaten far behind a good horse.
Yes, first start, only 7 runners, but he drew 7. So he a little bit unlucky. He's all the way 3 deep, but he still won good. So this time he got a better draw. I think he should be better chance. Yeah.
You mentioned the draw, of course. Obviously, always a good thing to have a nice draw at Happy Valley. Do you think that's crucial to him, that he needed that good draw?
I think in Happy Valley, I think better draw inside should be better, because more easier for the jockeys here.
Talking of your jockey, you've got Zach Purton on as well. That's obviously got to be a plus.
Yeah. I put him on get up 2 times. He's also said it's good, the horse, it's good form, yeah.
And just to sort of elaborate on Zach's opinion of the horse, was he of the opinion that he's a horse that can sort of maybe creep up through the grades, possibly?
I think so, yeah.
He clearly is a nice horse for your stable, and one that I'm sure you're looking forward to. I wanted to ask you about A Pal, who won on the weekend. I mean, that visually, Frankie, was very impressive.
Yes, you can see When he get a good draw, it's more easy for some new horse. So he travel good behind the leader, and so that's why they give him 10 points.
Yeah, no, the handicapper hasn't missed him. What would be the plan going forward with him, Frankie? I mean, obviously you're going to try and aim, I suppose, for slightly better targets. What is the plan in your mind with a horse like APAL?
So I will give him one more 1400 first, and then to see he can win or not. You know, he only have a 4-year-old. Maybe if still keep improve, maybe looking for the 4-year-old series, yes.
Frankie Law there talking about APAL and Heroic Master. We'll talk more about Heroic Master soon because Paul's going to make a strong case for him. We move on though to some others in this race, Paul. And Sergeant Pepper, he comes back up in grade. He struggled when he does come up in Class 3 previously, but he is going better now than recently in this grade.
Yeah, he just got nutted here, didn't he? He was right on the post. The bob went against him. So it was a good run from him. Like, you're right, he's up in grade, but he's drawn nicely in barrier 5. There's a lot of pace in front of him. I think he should get a nice bit of cover. So I did include him.
He's fared slightly better this week with the barrier draws there as well. He was 7 last week. He's 5 here. Thought he had every chance last time out. He was right on the cusp of making it in, but didn't.
And we saw this replay on the last week's show that was the show for nothing. Tom with Special M trialling up at Chung Fa. He runs second in this trial and it was behind the rock.
Yeah, it's coming into this Special M with a last rating win of 68, so he's still quite high up in the points. You know, I just wonder about him fresh, Paul. Nothing wrong with the recent trials, and the barrier looks tricky as well.
Yeah, barrier 12, I thought with all his pace underneath him might find it a little bit hard. So, like, I didn't quite get him in.
All right, he's had those 3 trials, has at Special M. He's yet to place first up in 2 starts and has a run down the track on both of those occasions. Down in grade 2 Special M, but from barrier number 12, Hemlin and Size, they combine. We move on to California Deeply. You mentioned he showed some pace in the trials. This the one he showed the most pace, Paul, because he led all of the way in this.
He's had 3 trials. I thought all 3 trials have been pretty good, actually. 1,061 pounds, so he's really forward for a good run here. The stable's going nicely. Tony Cruz, tongue tie on for his debut, so I've included him.
Yeah, he's looked good. I thought in his most recent trial he was up on the pace. When he did win in Australia, he was just off the speed, sat second or third there, and I think he's forward enough for a bold showing here. First up, California Deeply. It's
a good report for California Deeply. And another of the first starters here, Tom, Dragon Admiral. He runs 4th, but Harmony Fire, who's had a couple of trials, he's looked impressive this time in.
He has. His trial here at Happy Valley I thought was really good with the shadow roll on. He sports the shadow roll for the first time on Wednesday night. He's up a bit in body weight here, but kicked away nicely on the turn. It's just the wide draw that was a little negative, but certainly want to keep him safe because he does have some ability.
Yeah, look, I did include him last week from barrier 1, but I'm going to leave him out from 8. I just think with the pace underneath him, carrying that weight, and as Tom said, he is up a little bit in body weight. I'm happy to watch him on this.
Sylvester de Souza fresh off a full-timer on the weekend. Now, we didn't talk about Heroic Master because you're about to make a strong case for him.
Yeah, look, I just thought it was a really good debut run. He trialled really well leading into it. He was 3 wide all the way, got absolutely no luck. He's drawn barrier 3. And so from barrier 3, he's going to get right in behind the pace. We know Super Axiom should lead. He does in all his starts. So if he can just sit in behind, I think he's going to get every opportunity. And I think he can win. So tongue tie on him. So he's on top. Oh, no, he's not. Yeah, he's got the tongue tie on. Yeah, so he's on top from California Deeply, who has got the tongue tie on for the first time. I did like those trials. Thought he trialled really well. Sergeant Pepper's got a nice draw. He should get a nice run. And with this pace on it, look, I'm going to put Savvy Delight in. He comes in here with a lightweight, barrier number 2. I think he can be running on strongly. So 5, 6, 8 and 9 for me.
Yeah, there was a lot to like about that first up run from Heroic Master. Covered ground, but still stayed on it at the end. Only beaten 3/4 of a length behind Pinghai Galaxy, and he improved off the back straight and still stayed on pretty well after that to Heroic Master. So he's drawn nicely here. Barrier 3 with Zach Purton on board. Harmony Fire, yes, there's a couple of negatives. The wider store, a little bit of body weight that he's got to carry in, 129 pounds, but he's certainly got the ability to do so. I think does Harmony Fire. California Deep Leap, former Snowden galloper, son of Deepfield. He's just a 3-year-old, winner at Warwick Farm prior to arriving here, and then was down the track at Randwick, beaten 4 lengths. But his effort in the trials, I think, has looked pretty good from California Deep Leap. And the 11 Super Eagle, not prepared to drop off him yet. First up run was fairly quiet, and then last time out got a bit keen going into that first turn, but he is drawn nicely here in barrier 1, so don't want to drop off for him, although he's on a rating of 61. So 5, 2, 6 and 11.
Super Eagle coming back from his first 2 starts in Hong Kong over the 1200, one over the 1400 at Pakenham, 1450 at Kilmore. He did place over 1100 metres at Ararat, did Super Eagle. So that's the selections for race number 8. What about a few selections for the other races on the program, please, Paul?
Well, yeah, we start off with the Class 5. It's probably the trickiest race in the card. I thought Medic Elite could run well. He's been running well there all season. Rainbow Light's drawn nicely. He should get a good run. Angus Chung's going to have his first ride at Happy Valley in race number 3 on Viva Popcorn. I think he can win Viva Popcorn. The horse is going really well at the moment. His body weight's spot on, so we'll see if he can do it. And Angus is used to riding around these tight tracks in South Australia as well. Yellowfin will get his opportunity. He's been a little bit costly, but from an inside draw. Champion Dragon was huge last start. And the other one, Exponential, could be a bit of a price in the last if he can get across from barrier number 10.
And you can see a preview of all of those races on the website, hkjc.com. Click on audio and video for race-by-race analysis. We're almost at the end of the show, which means it's best bet time.
Yeah, I thought Heroic Master looks a good bet from his draw. Barrier number 3 should sit in behind the pace and be tough to beat. It was a good debut run from him. And Exponential, look, he's drawn 10, so that's why we might get a bit of a price on him. But I think he can get across, and if he does, I think he'll be tough. And we'll do the play and race forward. Durham Star, Riverviews and Rattan Kingdom.
Main race of the night, Class 2, 1,000 metres, all the pace on. I think it's going to certainly suit Seizing the Moment. Race 7, number 10, Antoine Hamlin and John Size combining. And the value in race 3, number 1, All Joyful, who's first up, has gone well course and distance in the trials, so haven't been bad coming into this. Matthew Chadwick, Benno Jung and Harmony Fire, Heroic Master, and the newcomer California Deeply in the QQP for race 8.
Best bets, race 9, number 9, Solar Winds, comes out of a strong street scream race where he was running on well, only had the 5 starts in Hong Kong. Luke Ferraris on board for Casper Founds. Derek Longride's King's Capital for David Hayes. He's had 1 start, 1800 at Happy Valley, and he won that. So that'll do as the long shot in the play. Race 9, 2 5 Elements, 9 Solar Winds and 12 Global Harmony, who trolled up really strongly at Happy Valley recently, so 2, 9 and 12. That's been Racing to Win for Wednesday. We've got a Saturday meeting this week, Tom.
We do, and there is a big jackpot as well for the TT, but the Panasonic Cup is the feature race. Healthy, Happy, the Golden Scenery going around there.
Yeah, my good old friend, the Golden Scenery. Looking forward to seeing a horse called Wonderful Unicorn on debut. He's been trialling well.
We will be seeing you for the first at Happy Valley at 6:45 on Wednesday night.